Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we're going to be talking about a topic that I have not discussed on this channel really in depth, and I really want to talk about it because I was thinking about it recently, and it kind of was like, well, I've never talked about this topic and I think it would be a good time for me to bring it up in general, because I've had these experiences. I know a lot of other players out there have had these experiences as well, and that is what I call personally, and I'll get more into depth in it, about soft cheating in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Other people out there may call it just blatant cheating in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Other players out there may say that it's a misplay, it's a mistake, or it's an honest mistake or a misplay. You know, different players out there may have different terminologies for it. I think there's different types of cheating out there in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! You have your blatant cheating, which I'm probably going to do a video on in the future, just talking about my thoughts and things I've had happen and experiences with blatant cheating in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you intentionally do something, but that's for a different video. Then you have your misplays you have in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where, you know, you make an honest mistake, kind of, you know, or you just make a buffoon move, I call it. You know, you make an ass of yourself in a way. For example, like in a heavy storm format, unless you were trying to pro-storm your opponent by, you know, setting a heavy storm and maybe another back row, trying to make them commit to their back row, and then heavy storming them with a chainable card like a Book of Moon or something like that. You would just blatantly set with no Starlight Road, no huge revolution, just set your back row and they would heavy storm you. And you'd be like, well, yeah, I should have known not to set 3 back row because heavy storm's a thing without protection. Yeah, that's a thing. So, you know, like that, that's what I call a misplay. You know, you just completely made a mistake or things of that nature. And they're very intertwined with each other, you know, making a misplay and soft cheating in a way. They kind of go hand in hand. In a certain way, I guess you could say. So I'm not saying they're two different entities, but they do intertwine with each other, making misplays and soft cheating. Now, what is soft cheating? What am I talking about here? And like I said earlier, it's like an honest mistake you make in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I know every player out there has done this. I mean, I've done it. I will admit to it. Where you're like, it's late at night, you're at locals, you're playing with your buddies at locals. You've been playing maybe 5 rounds of Yu-Gi-Oh, 6, 7 rounds of Yu-Gi-Oh. You had work early in the morning. It's 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. You're dog tired, and you're like, okay, I draw for turn. Oh, well, how does this card interaction with my card interaction? Okay, that's how that works. Okay. Whose turn was it? Oh yeah, I forgot. It was my turn. Okay. Did I draw for my draw phase? No, I didn't. You know, like stuff like that. Just stuff your brain is so tired you forget to do things, or you don't completely understand a card interaction, how it works with your card. There are so many different cards out there in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! No one can really know all the different card interactions and how they work with such and such card. We know our basic things for the format. We know things from past experience that were relevant, but sometimes there's just blatant things where I'm like, okay, well, how does this work? Or I need a recollection, like sometimes when I'm playing GOAT format and I'm like, okay, well, I forget, how does that weird card interaction work with that card? You know, how does that actually work? You forget sometimes, you know. There's been some times where I'm like, when I was playing in the Seto Kaiba and Yugi duels, when I was just practicing with my friend, Michael, I just activated remove trap because I thought in my mind that remove trap meant I just target a back row. If it's a trap, it's destroyed. So I thought it was kind of like dispel, but in trap form. But it wasn't. The trap had to be face up for me to activate it. I just did not read my card. And half the times and half the mistakes in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Just in general, and I'm going to tell you this from personal experience and watching others, it comes from mistranslation of a card, or not reading your cards in general. And I say mistranslation because there's sometimes where a little semicolon or a little colon or a little dot or a little period or the little change in the verbiage can make a card amazingly good or not so good. That's happened throughout Yu-Gi-Oh's history. There's been so many times where I'm like, this card would have been great, but it says it or when or, you know, just these little changes of verbiage can mean completely different things. So I've had times where I'm asking a friend when I'm dueling, I'm just testing a deck out with them in fun, casual play, and I'm like, okay, wait, how does this card interaction work? I don't know if it needs that. Let's go ask the judge, just to make sure, or our friends who know more. Or just other people out there, that just opinion. Look it up online. I mean, especially back before we had really iPhones and things like that. Back when we had flip phones and things of that nature, it was a lot harder. So literally, you would have to ask people and try to find general consensus of what the ruling was until you got to a regionals, or whoever went to the recent regionals, maybe a state away from you, they would know a little bit more maybe about that new card interaction, how it interacts with an old card, or you would read up on metagame or Pojo or things back in the day. But that's beside the point. Pretty much what I'm trying to say here is we all make these little mistakes in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! We lose track of time. We lose whose turn it is. I've had it when I'm just dog tired sometimes. You watch, and the reason I wanted to bring this up is because like when you watch a YCS, you watch the top tables, people think, oh, it's so easy. I'm not saying I've ever played. I've never played before, on a top table at a YCS or something like that before. But it comes from me visiting, going to a couple YCSs, watching these top tables and things of that nature. You just watch them play and how they do things. They got the judges over there asking, okay, what are you doing? What are you doing? So they can write their reports up. You got the camera right on you. You got a whole group of maybe 100 people or 50 people surrounding you, talking and whispering and cheering and yoo-hooing and things of that nature. So your mind is not always on the game. That's why I think in a way you kind of sometimes see all these competitive players that are used to that spotlight, used to being under pressure. They perform well time and time again because they're used to it. If you've trained and you're used to something, it doesn't become as hard for somebody that's not really used to it, who still has trouble adjusting and understanding it. It may take some time. Experience with age usually comes experience, hopefully. But usually that's why you notice like a lot of the times like same players at the top tables, because they're so used to it. They're used to the pressure of being recorded. And one of the best ways I found to just perfect yourself and not make stupid misplays and things of that nature, not make stupid mistakes, is noticing some of the common mistakes you do sometimes. Like me, for example, when I was younger, and I used to be dog tired, like you would get off school, get off work, go to locals, hang out. I noticed that sometimes I just was more groggy and I really wasn't paying attention to how the duel was progressing, and I would make stupid little, not understanding a card ruling, making a stupid misplay, not reading a card properly, and I would like, oh, okay. Especially like when a new set came out and I was just like, I don't want to deal with this. I just want to practice and I'm tired. Okay, I'm dead tired. You're not paying attention to what's going on around you. So things happen. You make misplays. You didn't make misreads. And what I used to do, and I still do sometimes when I'm with friends, is I'll record my videos. And I'll record the videos and I'll actually go back and watch the videos of me dueling with other friends dueling. And I know my friends look at their videos too, because they'll notice, okay, well, hindsight's a bitch, but you get to look at, what you did wrong. Did you make a mistake? Could this misunderstanding, could you have been tired that caused you to do this play? You weren't thinking clearly. These little things add up really time and time again if you really pay attention to when you're dueling. Because just being tired, being hungry, I mean, I've seen players, and I haven't happened to me, thank gosh, but I've seen players at regionals and a YCS, they're in a late round and they're like this, jumping up and down in their seat, like trying to jump around, jiggling around, and I'm like, what the heck's going on with them? And next thing you know, after the game is done, they run off to the bathroom, where I don't think their mind was so much on dueling as not pissing their pants. Going to the bathroom, I think, was more important in that aspect. So, I mean, little things like this, if you don't take care of them, they cause you to do and make honest mistakes that you don't mean to. You're not intentionally cheating. There's a big difference, I feel like. If you've played this game for a long period of time, you'll understand where I'm coming from. Where an honest mistake is different from just straight up cheating. Honestly knowing that, oh, my opponent doesn't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh! He's a 12-year-old who doesn't know, and I'm just going to use pot of greed. He's not going to read the card, and I'll just draw 3 cards instead of 2 cards. Something of that nature. Just a given away. Where you're like somebody that's trying to understand. Like when I was teaching my nieces and nephew, both of my nephews, how to play Blue Eyes White Dragon, they were trying to understand how Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon tributed, got off for Blue Eyes Silver Dragon and Moonlight Rose Dragon and things of that nature. They were trying to understand how that worked, and so one of them explained it one way, and then I found out later that no, he had misinterpreted it and he didn't understand it, and so he had told my other nephew the wrong information, so he didn't activate one of his cards that he had, which could have stopped it. So those little teeny things, misreading a card, misunderstanding the card, especially when you're younger and you don't understand all these things. I completely understand that because I was there myself. When I first started the game, hell, I was cheating all the time, I didn't read the rule book. I just thought I could normal summon Blue Eyes White Dragon and then normal summon another Blue Eyes White Dragon and then normal summon another Blue Eyes White Dragon and just attack you for game. Screw the rules, right? So we've all had those things where we're young, we're dumb, but when we get older, we try to understand things more. And if you're always trying to improve yourself in the game and catch yourself making little mistakes or understanding what has led you to make such said mistakes in the past, because if you're making the same mistakes over and over, I notice, and not intentionally like I'm saying here, you will notice that there's a reason that's happening. You're tired, you're hungry, you gotta go to the bathroom. Especially at regionals, I see this all the time, you see a lot of misplays sometimes, or at YCSs when you go sometimes. You'll notice that people make a lot of misplays because they're tired, they're hungry, they're just not into the game, things of that nature. These little things add up. Maybe they're having a bad day, maybe their deck got stolen, you don't know. But these little things add up, and if you can pinpoint what those things are, hey, next time I go to a regionals, let me sleep more. Hey, next time I go to the regionals, let me eat a good hearty breakfast, bring a couple of snacks, so I can eat throughout the day, bring some good water, get hydrated, basic little things like that. You'll see yourself improve more. Because when you're tired, you're exhausted, you're going to make more misplays. You're going to accidentally cheat without openly knowing it sometimes. Or sometimes you'll hear from one person, oh, this is how this card interaction works. And then you come to find out that's not how that card interaction works from the judge that's, judging your table and things of that nature. So these little things happen. We all do them without knowingly doing them. Sometimes we catch ourselves and we're like, oh, damn, I'm sorry, man. I've had that with my friends. I'm playing against them at locals and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to do that. They're like, it's fine, Seto. I mean, we're both tired. It's 12 o'clock at midnight and we're, we're tired, man. We're tired. We had work from 9 to 5. We got here to locals at 7. We're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Because we love the game, but we're tired and we're not paying attention. Our mind's in the gutter, things of that nature. And that's sometimes when you find yourself going on autopilot. But that's a different topic altogether. But to dial back and to fix the problems that are causing you to do this, because making soft cheats can give you game losses even though you don't want that, especially if you're at a high tournament. So I'm not saying you should condone it, but you should, like I was trying to say here, guys, is you should fix those problems. You should identify the problem and fix it. Identify, fix the problem, find a solution, and stop it from happening ever again. Ask people, read your cards, understand how things work. Understand how your own deck works. Now, understand not everybody may have access to a place where they can understand all their card rulings out there, especially if it's older cards and you have an old card text. Sometimes, you may not have the newest errated card text for that card. And I'm not saying Ring of Destruction or an errated card. I'm talking Necro Valley, an old typing of Necro Valley I've seen before. They're like, oh, how does this card exactly work? And you have to ask a judge or something like that because maybe it's older text and you don't know. I've had people do that when I was playing GKs a while ago, not too long ago. So just understanding and identify what the problem is. Do I make more of my misplays and these stupid moves, these bonehead moves, not paying attention to the game when I'm tired, when I'm hungry? Okay, how can we fix this problem? How can we make this not happen anymore? And you'll find yourself having more success in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! If you're able to identify, stop your misplays, you don't get game losses, you don't get DQ'd or things of that nature. So fixing the problem is important and identifying the problem is the most important things. But you also have to understand, guys, everybody does this. And I don't mean everybody cheats necessarily, but I'm saying, openly cheats, but I'm saying we all make stupid misplays, misinterpretations, misunderstandings, and we should be understanding of those. But there are players out there that definitely do cheat. You know, they cheat knowingly, and there's a difference as well. So that's what this video is, talking about the difference between just blatant cheating a little bit, which we'll talk about in another video. I'll probably make that after this, and talking about just making an honest mistake, how to fix that honest mistake, how to stop them from happening, identifying and fixing those problems. So till next time, guys, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, and tell me, guys, do you think there's a difference between an honest mistake that's cheating nonetheless, but it's an honest mistake, and just blatant cheating altogether? Tell me what you guys think. Do you think there's a difference? And so next time, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.